Teens across the U.S. stand by their mailboxes, waiting anxiously for the envelopes that will seal their academic fate. A quote from Sarah Sheffer. Why do high school students' academic fate rely so heavily on the standardized tests like the SAT and the ACT? These standardized tests do not accurately represent the academic ability of students and either needs to be revised or taken completely out of the evaluation process of colleges. We have all taken the SAT or the ACT and know how ridiculously stressful and hard these two tests are, and they are weighted too heavily on the college admission process. I was someone who had a pretty high GPA in high school, but did not do very well on my SAT or ACT test scores, so this topic is very important to me because it affected what schools I got into and how much scholarship money I got to the schools that I did get admission to. Some sources that I used were the Educational Resources Information Center website, the dictionary, pbs.org, the Washington Post, and ascd.org. A standardized test, according to the dictionary, is a test that is administered and scored in a standard manner and is designed in such a way that the questions, conditions, scoring, and interpretations are all consistent and standard. The problem with this definition is that not all high school students are standard and the same. Everyone's different. The SAT started in the 1930s as a scholarship for Ivy League schools, and after that moved to all different colleges around the U.S., and now is the criteria of judging how successful a student is in high school and how successful they will be in college and their future careers, according to the PBS website. Employing standardized achievement tests to a certain educational quality is like measuring temperature with a tablespoon. Tablespoons have different measurement missions than measuring how hot or cold something is, and the standardized testing process has different measurement mission than indicating how good or bad a school or a student is, according to James Popham. Everyone is different and cannot be measured in the same ways. Some students thrive more in the arts or in music rather than math, science, or English. Some students, like me, do well in high school and have a high GPA, but cannot seem to get good scores on their standardized tests. It is proven that standardized testing does not accurately predict success in college, and GPA does, according to the Educational Resources Information website. And these tests also favor the wealthy who can afford expensive test prep courses. So some students who maybe aren't as intelligent but can afford test prep courses can do significantly better on standardized tests than intelligent students who don't have the resources to afford standardized testing prep courses. The revision of the standardized testing process is important because it affects many students in a negative way, whether that just be the stress that the test puts on them or how it will negatively affect their futures and the colleges that they will attend. It is proven that Asians and whites receive significantly higher scores on the standardized test than do African Americans, Hispanics, and Indians. Asians have the average highest score of a 1645, while the lowest score is averaged for the African Americans and is at a 1278, according to the Washington Post. It was also proven that students' scores depend on the educational level of their parents. So students with parents who didn't receive a high school degree were averaged to get around a 1300 on the SAT, whereas students with parents who got a graduate degree scored around a 1700. Some of the consequences of this issue are the fact that many students either do not get admitted into the colleges that they wanted to, or the colleges that they do receive admittance to, they do not receive enough scholarship money, so they cannot attend those colleges. The solution to this problem would be to either completely take out the standardized tests from the evaluation process of colleges and universities, or to create a test that explores more areas than just math, science, and English. By changing the test so more skills are represented, rather than assuming that everyone is the same, would be beneficial to colleges in seeing exactly where their students will thrive. Taking out the test completely will be a huge decision for universities, but many schools have already opted to take the test out of their curriculum. As of last February, 33 public and private universities were questioning whether or not there was a need for these tests, according to the PBS website. Not every student is the same, and standardized tests try to place all different types of students into 3 categories, and these categories are math, science, and English. Standardized tests do not represent how smart a student is. It has been proven that GPA does, and GPA will represent how successful these students will be in college. Many schools have already opted to take the standardized tests out of their evaluation process, and many schools are following in their lead. So if you guys feel as strongly about this topic as I do, contact your high schools or the administration here at GU and see where they stand on the issue of standardized testing. Thank you.